Welcome back to SwitchCorner. My name is Alex and today we're taking a look at my favourite games coming in under $10 or your local currency, covering eShops in the US, Canada, UK, EU and Australia. Now before we do get started, then a shout out to All In Games who have been kind enough to sponsor today's video celebrating their new release for Triumph. We'll talk about that a little later in the video, but with that, first of all, hit subscribe if you love the Switch as much as we will do here. Join our growing family and let's get started. So it's another good week, and while we do have a decent chunk of sales right now, I wanted to spend the majority of today's video looking at all-time low prices. So I have 13 games for your total, 9 of which are at a new low price. The others I'll let you know as we do get to them. So kicking us off, going with a classic, that is Aggelos with the recent release of Axiom Verge 2. I wanted to talk about another Metroidvania styled experience, and it's hard to beat this one with a huge discount of 80% off. The story, creatures from another dimension invade the kingdom, and you are now off to defend it basically with a whole lot of melee combat and exploration. Think though boss moments, magic and some great pixel work, and that really wraps up the package. It even has a pretty killer soundtrack as well for fans of retro. Evergate then is an underappreciated gem of a game. It saw a permanent price drop, but I hope it did well because it deserves love, and now it's 33% off. Yes, that doesn't sound big, but remember, original retail here was $20. Guiding a spirit though known as Key, you'll be travelling through what is a 2D puzzle platformer that gives you what's called the Soul Flame. It gives you powers. You can even do things like slow down time. I love the look of this one though then, and it's another one with a decent little soundtrack. Let's just quickfire a couple of games then matching the low here with Metro 2033 Redux and Metro Last Light Redux. Back on sale, matching that previous low price we saw last time as 65% off. It seems here we have two games that will forever live on sale moving forward, but I wanted to give them a quick shout out as it is only the second time we've seen that price. First person shooters though, it combines elements of exploration and stealth, good stories as well around a post-apocalyptic Moscow living in the subway, and gameplay wise I'd describe the first as more claustrophobic, almost more linear, second a little bit more open world, and they both look incredible on the Switch. A shout out then to today's sponsor, All In Games, and their new title for Triumph releasing August 13th. It's a fantasy turn-based tactics game. I'm a big fan of the genre myself, but I'm looking forward to its parody-filled fantasy plot more than anything else. It's already out on PC, and reviews from Steam to Metacritic, they seem great, but the gameplay, it's not just turn-based action, but you can expect weapons to kind of experiment with, 4 different factions and classes to choose from, base building and of course resources. Then you can add skills to your heroes as well, which I'm always a fan of, but here it's promising cross-class skill sharing, meaning a whole lot of flexibility in your hero's future. I've always liked having the ability to get the best of all worlds. The game tops things off then with reasons to replay, which is always good, and that's actually down to the fact that these maps you see, they are procedurally generated. It launches with a 25% discount, which is generous, and that's available till August 27th. Again though, look, thank you to All In Games. Go show them some love. They're big supporters of the channel, which I seriously appreciate. So yeah, take a look. I've linked the eShop page in the pinned comment down below. Alright, so let's get violent. They bleed pixels. If you want some hardcore action platforming, this is the way to go. It was a relatively recent pickup for myself, and it's absolutely worth this 87% off. Think here, brutal acrobatics with all sorts of things to kill and also obstruct you, and then there's even single button hack and slash action with an easier difficulty mode. Then if this sounds a little bit too much for you as well, it's kind of nice to see some accommodation here, and the world is just awesome. You're battling through to defeat a curse that's transforming you into a clawed demon. It's gothic stuff which really separates it out from the pack. Slowing things down then, what comes after is a side-scrolling adventure, but it is story-heavy, near visual novel style, I'll give that warning, but it's from the creator of Coffee Talk. You'll be joining Fifi though on a journey of self-discovery through what is basically limbo, which in this case is a train. Now I don't want to spoil anything, but it's got a touching tale, it's reinforced with a good sense of humour, and it's a quick maybe hour or two experience in total. 40% off though here on what was, let's face it, already a budget price point. Alright, so Indie legend Bertil Hårberg has a trio of games on sale. First, the two titles matching the low price. We've got Gunman Clive HD Collection at 60% off. This one, it's an action platformer. You're setting out to take down the bandits. Not a deep story, you know, save the day, save the mayor's daughter, but it is a lot of fun. It bundles two games from the 3DS with, you know, of course, HD improvements, and yeah, I just don't think you can go wrong for the price. Also, the visual style here is just absolutely awesome. Then Hårberg Productions also have Mechstermination Force, switched out the hand-drawn like style here for a more almost think cel-shaded approach, I guess. This is almost think Power Rangers, Godzilla, a dash of Shadows of the Colossus as you battle against these huge robotic enemies to take them down. Think here though, upgrades, two-player co-op, and this one, it's a personal favourite of mine. It's definitely my personal favourite of his releases in fact, and this is also matching the low price with 80% off. The final title from Hårberg Productions then, and this is the new all-time low price but super Punch Patrol. It's 60% off. It was super budget to begin with, and it takes the Gunman Clive visual style but gives us instead a side-scrolling beat-em-up, so think the likes of, you know, Streets of Rage. A few playable characters though, an interesting world, again local co-op play. I was really impressed given the budget price point they started at, and now we get an additional 60% off, so I don't think you can complain at that. And yeah, it's the usual, you know, save the day from an evil crime syndicate. My personal pickup of the week then, meaning I can't recommend it, maybe you'll want to join me for the ride, I haven't played it, but Badland Game of the Year Edition. Switch Up, they did a feature on this one. It's cubic games and reviews across the board are stunning for this one. It's a side-scrolling action platformer, but what stands out to me, it touts local 4-player play, redesigned visuals, controls, a 15-hour story, and then those visuals are just absolutely stunning. It even has a built-in achievement system, which is something I hope Nintendo they come around to in the future, because it can add a ton of replayability. A launch discount here though with 20% off, but the game couldn't have started much cheaper. Alright, so into the final 3 games for the week, and we're starting with Children of Zodiarcs. I'm a big fan of this one, and it continues to drop in price, and it continues to deserve more attention. It's a story-driven tactical RPG with a combat system that's set around, you know, dice and deck systems, but it's addictive, and what hooked me personally, it was the story, the world building. It looks stunning, but it just establishes a location that feels unique and alive, and the story, it's set around a group of bandits on the run from the city guard after what is a heist of sorts goes wrong. 50% off, well worth your time, and there's going to be a good 15 plus hours of gameplay here. Our penultimate game of the week then, West of Loathing. Now we don't see this on sale all that often, but it's here rocking 44% off. It's a new low for those in the US and Canada, but not UK, EU or Australia, where it has been slightly lower before. It's worth full price though, never mind the discount. The visuals are minimalistic as you can see, but somehow it works and it kind of plays into the game's humour. And it describes itself as a comedy adventure RPG, but do not be deceived. For sure the humour is great, but the gameplay is as well. Think here open world quests, puzzles, combat, cosmetics, and yeah, this was a surprise hit for me personally, and I do need to jump on the DLC myself, which is also on sale currently for 44% off. So our final game of the video then, that is Wolfenstein Youngblood, and first off, probably the weakest entry in the series. It shifts its focus for a more co-op-like experience, loses some of the essence of what it meant to be a Wolfenstein game, but that said, 70% off makes issues easier to forgive, and I think if you want some first-person action, you can do a whole lot worse at this price point. More of an open world vibe though here, you play twin daughters, and you can also play single player as well, don't worry that it's not co-op only, and just expect here gadgets, weapons, and a ton of enemies to kind of mow down. I think you can have some fun with this one though, and the Wolfenstein 2 original game is on sale as well, but we'll be talking about that on Saturday. This looks incredible as well on the Switch. I gotta say, it's a hell of a port job. And that's another week done. Will you be adding anything to the library this week, or are you holding onto that cash? With that then, another shout out to All In Games for sponsoring today's video. Remember to go ahead and check out Fort Triumph as it does release on August 13th, and tactical fans, it's for sure one for you. A shout out then to the patrons of the channel who are just going above and beyond to support SwitchCorner. It helps more than you know, so thank you all so much. Then hit subscribe if you love the Switch as much as we all do here. Join our growing family, and I'll see you all on the next video. Thanks everyone.